Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations on Friday, November, is it 26th? Yeah, I was going to say 26th of the year 2021. Tonight I'm going to teach you how to make a lantern swag. So if you have any lanterns handy and you want to add some decorative touches for the holidays, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way that you can build one. And then you would simply change that out for your seasons, but the process of building it remains exactly the same. So my lantern, which I've had for quite a while, I use these quite a bit in our home for decor, is from Hobby Lobby. It is, I want to say it's a 6 by 6 by 18 inch, but let me just verify again. So 6 inches, so 6 by 6. And then from the very bottom to the very top, 18 inches. So this design will work well for your lantern. And obviously you want to do a couple things beforehand. You want to figure out what side of your lantern allows you to open and close the door so that you keep that like in the back of your mind. And then also if you have a handle, you're going to want to make sure that when you're building your lantern swag, your handle is not on the same side that you're building or attaching your lantern to, because if you need to pick it up and move it, obviously that's not going to work. So you always want to make sure if you're shopping for a lantern that you have something at the top to attach it to, like a round finial, because you're going to need to wire that on and then unwire it when you want to change it for the holidays. Like I said, these came from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby occasionally runs, I don't know how often their sale is on their decorative lanterns, but I know that they run them at least once a month, which is a really great opportunity to pick them up in a couple colors. I have a black one and I have a white one. So it just depends on the holiday. Couple things before I get started. If you want to keep this video accessible to where when you go pick up your lantern swag or pick up your greenery and you want to have that available to you, just click the share button down at the bottom, and then that way it'll share this tutorial on your page where you can find it a lot more easily. If you're selling them, you want to put a disclosure on it that it does not come with the lantern. Also, do not use with direct heat, which means that you don't want them to use an active candle in the lantern, because when you build your lantern swag, obviously it's going to get hot, it's going to become flammable, and this is strictly for decorative purposes only. Now, I do use the battery operated tapers, and I change these out as the holidays change. And then you can also decorate the inside. I see a lot of people use them for staging like a winter scene, maybe with a candle in it. Whatever you want, just know that when you build the swag, it's just going to occupy 1/4 of your lantern. So you'll still be able to see everything from the other 3 sides, and then you'll be able to, you know, take it out, turn your candle on, turn your candle off, whatever you need to.
Thanks, Anna sent 100 stars.
Yes, thank you. So how do we do on the stars? I think I posted in the group, and you may not have been aware, we raised a grand total of $261, and that's with our match for feeding it's not the homeless, but I guess it is, for people who needed a Thanksgiving meal this holiday. That's how much money we sent to, it's called the Victor Valley Homeless Shelter. So they received that, and I think it is equivalent of, let me do the math in my head, it's like 60 meals. So 60 people got fed by you guys clicking that stars feature on a Facebook Live. So if you're on Facebook, you can do that. If you're catching this on a replay or on YouTube, as long as you're on Facebook, you can still donate the stars, but on YouTube, unfortunately, that's not an option that we have at this time. So now what we're doing for Christmas is we're sponsoring a family for Christmas to try to help out a family in need this Christmas. So by clicking those stars, each star is equivalent to 1 cent. So you can, you know, if you do 100 stars, it's $1. So
Rita,
that's
Rita
how
sent-
we're doing that.
Rita sent 50 stars. Thanks, Rita.
Thank you, Rita. Okay, so let's get started. This is super, super simple. Like I said, be aware of what side of the lantern it opens, and I always forget this, so I usually leave it open. Or I'll take my handle and I'll put my handle on the back side where I know that don't attach here based on the way the handle is. So you have your choice of whatever greenery you want to use. I'm going to be using these, I think it's called the pine cone pick, and this is from Hobby Lobby. If Hobby Lobby still has these available in your Hobby Lobby, we're going to be using 2 of these. I know I had the other one here. Oh, in my hand. We're going to both be using these. And then when you're setting it up to determine length, you are going to, like, for example, if I take these and hold these in my hand, what you're trying to do is you want to make sure, number one, that we're only occupying 1/4 of the space, and we want to make sure that we're not going too big, like that we have too much on the top or too much on the bottom to where our swag drags. So we're going to need to bump this up if we're going to be able to make that swag. And that's about the perfect ideal height and ideal, you know, about as low as you want it to go. So something along that, scissors. Let's go ahead and remove our price tag. We're going to go ahead and take this one off. And then I'm going to keep the stems and everything on it because those are actually nice ways of securing everything. So I'm going to test it again, a little bit closer, right about here. I'm pretty comfortable with that. And the reason why I'm holding it in my hand is right where my hand is where the bow is going to go. So I want to make sure that I am not really going anything beyond this or extending it to the bottom. So this is the dimensions, which is about from pine tip to pine tip, 26 inches. That's about the max we want to go. So while we're doing this, we're going to kind of build here, and then you're going to see how you can attach it all together, and then we'll fix it to our lantern. Couple other pieces that I have. I don't like this one as much. This, let's see where this one come from. This is from Michael's last year. It's just labeled a Christmas bush, but I like the fact that it has a lot to it. It has some winter berries. It's got a little bit of glitter. It's got a little bit of a lighter frosted look. So we're going to be pulling these apart, and we're going to be placing these into either side of our design. Okay, there's one. I'm going to go ahead and break this apart.
How many gals have made lantern swags?
Oh?
How many gals have made lantern swags?
How many of you actually have made a lantern swag? You might not have even thought about it. You know, you might have them and you're like, wow, I never really thought to build anything. I'm going to use my bigger stem cutters, so these will cut through much quicker. So I'm just pulling these apart because if I was to keep it on its stem, the stem's actually too long. So we need to separate. And sometimes you guys know I like to build my own picks. So we're going to pull all this apart. These are nice because it gives it a nice festive look. Because most of us pretty much have the lanterns, we probably put them outside on our porch. And then of course using your artificial greenery, it's kind of a nice touch because they're going to weather really well. You don't have to worry about watering them. Let's go ahead and pull this off. There we go. Grab the last one. And then we're going to divide these up so that we have 2/3 on the top, 1/3 to the bottom.
Cats have made one with you last year or year before.
Nice.
Hi everybody, just join in.
So as you can see on this particular pick, you can push these up towards the top so that I can take advantage of the greenery. Like I don't have to, you know, put it further down my stem. If I don't like how low this is or how sparse this is, you can just push all this up so that we can take advantage of the height. So remember, 1/3 at the top. I'm going to put some with the berries at the bottom as well.
Like I said, I have not, but several with intentions to make them.
There's
I will now, I have plenty of supplies.
Yeah, so now it's just a matter of, like you said, sitting down, getting them done. This one's actually going to go in my brother's house because he liked the lantern idea. He bought the lantern, and then of course the lantern, just with the candle in it by itself, doesn't look very pretty. So I was like, I will build you a lantern swag. So he wants his very rustic looking. So we're going to keep it kind of natural. And then our bow choice is going to be similar. So I'm going to use 3 to the bottom. Let's put some berries up at the top.
Oh, nice. Richard said he's making one right now.
Are you really? How wonderful.
You'll have to post it when you're done, Richard.
I would love to see it. Because you can do them anyway. You can do them frosted. You can do candy cane ones, right? Let's push more of these up. So as you can see, this yields quite a lot of pig. So I'm going to take advantage of the berries and keep those up at the top. So 1, 2, 3 is what I have so far to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep that one there, and then I'll push this one up. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling out different colors and textures. So this is a nice lighter color than our darker pine. Plus it's got all the wintry picks. That we're going to use. We have, I looked all these up. What did I write for the last one on the list? Oh, you don't have it.
Still
Okay, hold on. So this is called Chinese lace. So we're actually going to incorporate some of these. I have 3 of them. So we're doing 1 here and then obviously 2 at the top. So I'm just going to kind of stack these here and then I'm going to put them all together. But I want to make sure I have enough, or I want to make sure I'm not overloading a little too heavy. Let's see. I don't know if I want to use these. Sometimes I always bring out more than I need. These ones are called, hang on a second, Japanese cedar, and I love these.
Hi, girls, just coming in. Clara said, hey, I'm here from the UK, so
welcome.
Great night for you.
Yeah, it is a really
Richard, yeah, we did have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you. Hope you did too. Hope everybody did here on the line.
Exactly. Okay, there's the last one. So sometimes it's helpful to pull all these apart. So same thing, we're going to do these at the top. I'm going to do this one here and this one here. Okay, so basically all I've done is make a pile. So I know that I need to incorporate all these at the top, and this is all the stuff that needs to go at the bottom. These are fillers. And then we're going to take this and start blending. So it helps for me to separate and show you my process. So now I'm just separating by these so that I can incorporate them all. Because some of these stems might be a tad too long. Okay, now we have all these done, this and that. Okay, I am starting at the top. Remember, this is as long as it can go. So I'm going to take some of these. I might pick up some of my pine and kind of blend them together so it's not just me laying things on top. I'm going to pick up my
That's a good
pine.
question. Richard said, do you make your swags even on both sides or one side shorter? Depends on what you're making, really, huh?
I do 2/3 to the top and 1/3 on the bottom, if that makes sense.
But I think on the sides of the bow, as far as the swag goes, it's pretty even. Just where you place it on the lantern.
No, still 2/3 to the top, 1/3 at the bottom. Because right now it's not half and half, it's more like we're building 2/3 here. So I'm incorporating a lot of my berries in here. So I'm just running them through. And as you see, they're kind of just poking through the bottom. But I really want to take that pine pick and give it some life, because right now it doesn't have very much.
Well, Clara, thanks for staying up and watching. She said it's 1:15 here or there.
Where?
But she said she doesn't like to miss you.
Aw, thanks so much. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to take some of this, and I like this a little bit more towards the back. So I'm going to take one piece on each side. And then what I will do is I will start taking and pulling the pieces of this pine through. Don't want to go too wide. Okay. I'm going to take this one, kind of go right down the center, and a little bit further in the back. Just so that we have a mix. Take your time, just pull all your, like, if you have pine cones intermixed in there, make sure you can pull your pine cones out. These are kind of just wired on. Make sure our berries are on top. So I'm liking that look for the top. So once I have it set, I'm just going to simply take a zip tie. I'm going to zip tie everything to the top. Just like that. Let me make sure got everything nice and tight. I'm going to make sure we keep it kind of close. Snip this off. If I hold this and pull this close to the top, we've got a pretty good mix. And remember, it's wired, so it's not going to stay like this. We're going to give it some life. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for the bottom. And if my picks are a little too long, I'm going to cut them down. So some of these are going to go way too far if I extend them in too much. Like this one. It starts to go into the next bundle. I'm going to flip these around. I'm going to allow this to go right down the center, just so that it's it's partly mixed in. Because I want some of this on the back. Okay, we want the one with the berries on it to be right in the center. And I've got this giant pine cone in there too. I'm going to take my pick, kind of feed it through. Do the same thing here. That as well. That looks weird. I don't need the curl at the end. I'm going to pull the cedar behind. Let's take this one off. Pull it back in. To see where I want this one to go. I have this giant pine cone, and every time I try to take my pick, feed it through. Okay, I see where it's going. Let's just do it here. Lift it up and lay it down. Last one here. Lord knows we don't need it that long. So I'm going to go right here in the front. Move our pine cone out. Tuck that around. One more zip tie. We're going to give it a couple more, just partially through here. Let me get this in, just so that it has some stability. Because right now, 2 zip ties, even though these are heavy duty ones, I want to make sure that our bundle doesn't fall apart and that we have some structure. So right in the center, just to kind of hold everything together. Okay. I'm going to feed this into, that didn't want to go. This one's going to have to get added in, so we're going to use a white, smaller zip tie. So this one just didn't want to stay with the others, but it's not a problem because I'm going to take it, read it in with some of the others, so this way they're held together a little bit better. I hear him. He's like whining. But as you can see, you can pick up the whole thing, and super strong. Super flexible. So now, what we're going to do, let me trim off some of these ones that are kind of protruding out the bottom. They're like going to the next pick. There we go. There's that one. I just took the ends off that were starting to go up into the other side. Throw all that away. Okay. Now let's build the bow. So, as you can see, let's say we were going 2/3 taller, 1/3 at the bottom. Right here is going to be our bow. So let's make the bow. Get rid of all this, which is glitter, frost. I guess it's like a white glitter to make it look like frosty. Let's do it here. So then we don't have this stuff all over our bow. Okay, we're all set. So the ribbon I have selected for this design, keeping it very rustic, very natural. We have a solid green canvas, and this is from Joann's. There is a cranberry joy with the snowflakes, also from Joann's. There is mistletoe and pine on white, and this is from Fifth Street Studios. And then we're going to do the traditional dark green, burgundy, and cream. And this is from Kringle Designs. So we're going to put all of these in our bow.
I think if I understand, he said, so you do it down the side? Yes, you have it just on one side.
Yeah, just one side. Yeah. So if I'm doing it here, That way it allows you to be able to view the lantern still from all the other angles. So that, like I said, some people do a snowscape, a winterscape, or whatever, or they might have a really large pillar. They might put it up on a stand and decorate the inside. Because you kind of, when you're doing your lantern swag, you don't want to swag it over the entire lantern, because then you can't see what's on the inside. Okay, so let's look at how these will play. Let's break these up. I think we're gonna go the green on the bottom. I like that look. So now, with that being said, we're gonna make what's called a funky bow, which means lengths of the tails and loop size don't matter. So nothing is going to be symmetrical. So when you're doing this, you just kind of take a guess, I guess.
I guess, are you using all the same size of ribbon?
Yes, it's all 1.5 inches. Thank you, Peggy, for bringing that up. It is all 1.5 inches because I like being able to use a lot of different colors and patterns. If you went with a 2.5 inch, it might be a little bit too big. And then you're kind of fighting and struggling over, you know, this is a little too big. And then it kind of takes away from your greenery, which is where we're trending. We want more greenery to show. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. I'm using my bow dabber just to hold it. So I'm just going to do, not measuring at all. I'm going to kind of just look at my ribbon tails and lengths. And you'll see sometimes I'll go bigger. Sometimes I'll go smaller. This one, let's see.
Richard, if it's freezing up, just try closing
logging out
and
log back in.
Coming back in, yeah. It happens from time to time.
It's a Facebook world. Okay. So there we are there. I'm going to keep this out because we might want to come back in and add more. Then we're going to do our gingham. And I was like trying to think of his house. His house is divided into 2 themes, but they're all rustic. So he has these lanterns on his white fireplace mantle, but he likes it pretty rustic. Natural, I guess. Okay, I'm going to do this one here. Remember, I'm not measuring anything. I'm just doing my twist. I'm kind of looking here. Here is helping me determine what this is going to look like there. So I'm going to go a little bit here. Kind of weird how the ribbon's folded, even though it's wired. Go here. Go a little bit lower here. And then we'll pull our loop out. Let's move this one here. So funky bow just simply means it has no measurements, doesn't matter. Push this one over, put our joy in, and I might come back in, like I said, and just grab other colors and say, I'm thinking I want this to have a little bit more green or a little bit more red. I really want this one, the joy, to show. So I might trim where this one is. I like the joy. So let's go out here. There's a nice pop of the joy. We're going to go back out here, right to our snowflake. We're always dovetailing the ends, which simply means bring your wired edges together. And then you're going to always cut on the folded side down to the wired point. And that gives you a really, really pretty dovetail look. Then we'll add this. What?
Richard said, I love funky bows.
Yeah, it's called, so what length is the tail? What length is your bow? I don't know, I'm just kind of like looking and going, oh, that's pretty.
Everyone's just jumping on. Hope you've had a great Thanksgiving weekend so far.
Hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving. Okay, make a bigger loop over here. Trying to get that in. Yeah, you might want to turn that on low. I'm going to bring the green back in. And then I'm going to probably bring the mistletoe back in too, just to make it a little bit fuller. So we have a really nice big full bow. Because right now it's only 4 loops. So let's bring the green, even though we're doing so much green. Let's do this. Let's do something really crazy. Let's put the green in. Since this is going to be at the top, let's do this. Let's just stick this in like this, and it's going to have 2 tails out the bottom. And then I'm going to do 1 on the opposite way. So this has 2 tails, 1 loop, and then we're going to go back to the mistletoe. Actually, let's do 1 more joy. 1 joy, and then 1 mistletoe. So let's do this opposite. So I'm just doing large loop. I'm going to spin this around, filter this way. So did you guys see what I did there? Just 1 loop, 2 tails. With the green, we did the same thing. I'm actually going to pull that side out so we have a little bit bigger loop. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on this side. So nice to just be able to. There we go.
Richard, yeah, that Empire music is a ringtone.
Yeah. It's for when my brother calls.
Because he's the dark side.
He has the dark side. Sometimes. He likes to be the dark side.
We didn't know. We did not go out and do any Black Friday shopping. We did it kind of online. Some of it.
Online shoppers.
Yeah.
I was telling Steve, I don't like going into the stores sometimes. If I just want something, you just click online and just wait for it to show up. Okay, so that's a pretty hefty bow. We did the red twice. We did the green twice. We did the mistletoe twice. We just didn't do the gingham twice. So it should create a fairly large bow. Fingers crossed, because we have to put it on a fluff. And then we backfill any spaces that show that you don't want to show. Okay, so, and I'm not using this on a fluff board. We're going to be fluffing on the Lantern Swag. So I'm going to pick up all of my layers. I'm going to put this on there with a pipe cleaner. We're going to twist to make sure those layers don't come apart. Move that. Okay, bring our swag back over here. Remember, this is the top, this is the bottom. I'm going to take this whole thing. Let's see, how did I want that? Yeah, like that. I'm going to put this right around the top. I'm going to twist that on. I'm going to twist it too hard in case I need to come back in and make some adjustments. And then I'm going to start separating my loops and my tails, just like we do it for real. And the nice thing about the funky bow is if you decide like, wow, that's a really long tail to be at the top, no worries. Just go ahead and take it and trim that up. And you can make the tails line up the way you want. Let's pull. Trying to get one of my tails untwisted. I have a really long tail here for the bottom. We're going to fluff the bottom half of our bow. Trying to get all my loops up. See how this really fills up that space? That's why you don't want to make sure that you have so much stuff in the middle, because you'd just be covering all of that up. Let's take one of these, pull it over. We need to go here, so I'm going to move you in opposite ways. Now, if you guys are looking at how this is kind of like taking shape, I guess is the best way to put it. If you liked the way this looked right here and you just want to add more to your sides, by all means you can. And this right now looks like a great table runner. So if you're not decorating your lantern, you can do the same thing and have a gorgeous table runner as well. So super nice. Okay, put all of our arcs back in. Okay, so let's take a look. Pull this over. Lantern swag. So at this stage, I'm going to look at how that develops. So if I was to flip it, if it was attached right now, this is what it's going to look like. We would have to fluff some more of our tails, but that's the shape in which it's looking on our lantern for now. Okay, just like so. And I'm going to flip and fan these. This one, I think it's going to need to be cut just a little bit more. This one at the top, just to open a bit more. Okay, so far, what do you guys think? Pretty good? Why is my thing turning? Okay, right about there is where it's going to sit. What do you think?
Yeah.
Careful, quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I need to develop a hanger so that we can attach this to the back of our lantern. So I'm using 22 gauge floral wire. You want to use quite a bit. And what I'm going to be attaching it to is, remember the bundle that we built at the back? Let me put this one back in here. The bundle that we built back here, I'm going to be taking my floral wire, I hate to lay it down, here's my bundle. So from the back towards the top, I'm going to, you don't want to lay it down. I'm going to have to lay it down because I'm going to need to put some serious twist in here. So we're going to twist, 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 because this is where the bundle is going to be held. Okay, so now I need to fluff. Thankfully, we don't have to fluff that much. Just open the loops where we smashed. Okay, we're going to take this, where that wire is where it's going to take. Hang on a second. I'm going to be attaching this to my finial. I want to make sure where it's going to sit here. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to kind of take this. Since the whole thing is wired, I'm going to put an arc in it so that it's going to mold around. Wait a second. Need to get you up a little higher. There we go. Let me get this attached first. This one. Why does it not want to stay centered? There we go. Kind of helps if you look at one thing. I'm going to take one of my really thick branches. It's hitting the finial part. Remember the beginner branches we had? I have one of those right in the center. And I want to take that out of the way. And I'll show you what I mean. It's like in the way, this little piece. So that when I go and attach it, that was staying straight. Lordy. Okay.
Rita, yeah, she's kind of showing you where she attaches right now.
As soon as I can get this up, I want to make sure my wire is straight. Okay. Let me just go ahead and twist.
Richard, if you just post a picture of your lantern swag in the public group, and then just ask her, you know, Kat, can you take a look at this? What would you?
I'd be happy to do that for you. So I had to just had to get it on there, and then now I can redo all the pieces in the back. So remember?
She'll show you in the back too.
Okay, so that's how it looks like from the back right now. So I just twisted it onto my finial, and now what I'm doing is I'm taking a lot of my branches that are wired, and I'm going to take them and I'm going to bend them now. So we're going to pull these back. We're going to fold these back, fold them around. That was a little tie. Let's put this one. Second. This one just looks like it just doesn't want to go. Let's move you to the other side so we have balance. Okay. Trying to hold it in place so I can bend my foliage where I want my foliage to go.
Richard said, I tried your Facebook page. I was not able to post anything. Am I on the wrong one?
You know what? Send me an email at KatsCreationsNMore KatsCreations777 and then I can help you. I don't know why it's not allowing people to post. Okay. So now I get to be picky and move things. You know, the stuff that was static on the bottom, I get to move around.
Rita, you saw where she attached it, right? Right to the top of the little...
The finial right
yeah.
here. It's just wired right here. Where I attached it on the swag is at the very top part of my pick. Like how I had everything together in the center. As I'm building, you can kind of go inside and grab a big chunk of what you put together. And then that is where you just put your wire at. So now I'm just going through and moving my greenery around. You can pull it down so it doesn't all have to be in one big clump at the top. Hold on a sec, I'll show you. It's kind of hard for me to show, like, let's see. Let's get you to go behind this one because I like the berries in the front. Move my pine cones to the front. And I'm just kind of pulling things apart. Like everything was static, it was flat, and now I'm just kind of giving it some dimension. So let me show you what I'm doing so far. So I'm just taking this and pulling pieces apart and down and bending them down so that it's not so one-dimensional. Like I'm taking some of my pieces, pulling them apart, refluffing them, whatever you like. This is where the artist part of you can decide what you like. And then I'm going to do the same thing here at the bottom. I'm going to pull these apart and wrap them around. So everything is wired, or make sure the stuff that you're adding to it is wired so that you can pull and make them go around, not totally to the side, but just so that it frames your side pieces. Let's pull our berries back to the front. Fluff our bow yet again. What a bow fluffing. If you want to add more greenery, which is why I had your little pieces here, and a glue gun. You know that piece that we added to the center? We are going to, I'm just pulling my pine cone out. When they wire them to the picks, they just don't want to move. But I don't want them to be so apparent. So let's say, for example, you're looking. Let's see. Let me move this one. So it bends just a little bit more. Pull these out. Okay. Let's pull our bows. Pull our tails down. Now I'm just fussing with the bow. Okay, so let's say, for example, you're looking around your sides and you're like, I don't really like there's a hole. But it's a perfect hole to fill if I just took a little bit of glue and added glue to a pick, and then I tucked that back into the centerpiece, for example. Let's just say right in. Let me move this one right inside here. And that's going to stay affixed to the inside. Maybe the little plastic tips on the end don't bend, but you would like some filler to the outside.
So I think I'll start on my lantern tomorrow if I'm feeling better.
Oh, I'll pray that you feel better. So I'm just taking these little picks. These are the ones that kind of come off. And I'm just kind of tucking them in to my centerpiece. like a centerpiece, I guess.
Yeah, I think she said the combination of those ribbons made a beautiful bow.
Aw, thanks.
That kind of got cut off.
Okay, so I'm just looking. Sometimes it's just like, there's like the slightest hole. And because like the pine tips aren't like these, they're not wired, but you need them to move because there's just a hole somewhere. Take the little pine pieces where we need a little fix, you know, whether it's up underneath. I'm just adding a couple more pieces. Sometimes you can tuck it up under your bow. Okay. I'll do the same on the other side. Like, I think like there needs to be a little piece of the cedar there. But see how we're filling in? Okay, let's say for example, you want to add, see I like to make my bow tails here curve around so that they're adding some life there. I love the way this looks from the back. See, it looks so pretty, except the wire. The wire, once you attach it to your finial, I usually just take this, pull this back around and tuck it back in to the inside. I know how it went on there. So now it just looks so pretty, all three-dimensional done. So let's say, for example, you're like, I need something here. Like I want to add another little piece. I don't know what that is. Something here. Those are extraordinarily dull right now. Little pink. Let's say, for example, I want to add this. Let me figure out where I want it. Oh, it's nice. Okay, look. There's a hole right here, right? Right in between this Japanese cedar. And I'm going to add this sparkly pick. It's going to be kind of hard for me to do that way. But I'm actually just going to go in and tuck it into my bundle. So right in here, there's a little hole into my bundle. But now, when I add it, ta-da, we found that like it's a good way to fill the ugly spot, if there's an ugly spot. Okay, if you want to add some more berries, I think I can just pull these berries off this pick. They're attached. Let's see. Okay. Berries, berries, no berries. We're going to put berries on the other side. Going to do the same thing. Going to add my glue. Voila, we have berries. Super simple, right? So that's the way you can build it. That's the way you can add more things to it. Now, the inside just doesn't look so pretty now. The inside looks kind of blah. We need something else. So let's take these. Let's move our bows down. Let's make the inside look pretty. Okay, there's so many different things you can do for the inside. For me, I like to add pine cones. So, Hobby Lobby actually sells a wide variety of pine cones. So I like to put my candle in the center and then add like the brush pine cones. We're gonna add some big ones so we can fill the space. Because he likes it very rustic. So let's fill the space. Put some bigger pine cones in. And then brush. I like the medium-sized ones. They're good space makers. I'm trying to get to this one. Let's see if we can tuck this one. Will it fit? Yes. Well, kind of no. It's a little too big. It's taking up too much space. Okay, here. Let's see if one of these little ones will fit in here. I feel like I'm doing science work. Yeah, pretty much. Let's put this one back here. Put this one here. There we go. I do want to add a couple little bulbs. Where to get these? Michael's. So let's add some red. Some really pretty sparkle. Pop one in over here. And pop one in on the back. Let's see. Let's hope the door closes. Okay. You know what's sad is I should have turned the candle on first. Hold on. Let me pop these out really quick. And this one. Everything else should relatively stay there. Candle on. Okay. There's our candle. Let's get that to lean. Add our bowl. Of course, now nothing wants to fit. I think we need the smaller brush. Yes. Now we can move it. Tuck. Why is it that everything fits when you first put it in there, and then you're like, oh, wait a second. It's my dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me move that one here. Tuck that one back there. Okay. Ta-da! Just something festive, but it's still something that looks kind of Christmassy, but it's just a nice touch to put on your fireplace. It looks like it's real candle, right? It looks very rustic. It looks very festive. It took a very blah, plain lantern, and we just kind of added something festive. And like I said, remember, if you needed to, for here, you could pull these off if you needed a last minute table runner or something to lay across your fireplace mantle. You can just untwist that, lay that out, and you're all good to go. What do you guys think? Super simple. Think you can do that? Just make sure, remember, when you're factoring into your greenery, 2/3 for the top, 1/3 for the bottom. I recommend looking for stuff that has an awful lot of picks, meaning look at all the little branches down here. I can pull apart and subdivide. And right now I think Michael's or Joann's is like 50 to 75% off their Christmas greenery. So go pick these up and get them for a really great deal. And just remember, look for numerous picks that you can break apart and add more greenery to.
Rudy says she's gonna think she's gonna make a table runner too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, just do it the exact same way. Don't overthink the process. I mean, if you wanted it very rustic, more country, you could come in and add what is it, like, I have a big one.
Pine cones or
small pine cones. Or you could do like the rusted bells. I know Hobby Lobby has these. You could add metal stars. pip berries if you want, whatever appeals to you and your decor. Just be creative. Don't let things stop you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I love making them. Oh yeah, if you guys would like to join my private group, we're doing 2 tutorials a week on top of the public lives. So if you want even more, with more kind of exclusive stuff like the angel tree toppers, centerpieces, Christmas tree decor. What else are we making? We're doing a mantle garland that's going to be coming up Sunday. Just go to KatsCreationsNMore.com. You can sign up right now in the yearly group. You get 20% off the yearly group membership price, which is insane. It's probably the best deal that you'll ever get, and that's only going through Cyber Monday. Or you can sign up on the monthly, and that's pretty much it. Did I capture it all?
Yep.
If you want to know when we're going live, make sure you click the like and follow button. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. It's hard with the extended holidays for it to not feel like a Sunday. But happy Friday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you on Sunday at 6, where I'll teach you another cool design for the holidays. Bye, everyone.